All right. Happy Tuesday, everybody. This is Michael Parrish. I'm the Senior Vice President of Client Development here at Halo Therapy Solutions. We are at episode 7 for Inside the Wellness Mind. And now the number 7 is my favorite number. It seems to be many people's favorite number, but it is absolutely my favorite number. And when I was thinking about the guest for this episode, the fact that the number 7 is near and dear to my heart, I was thinking of someone very special that I could have on this episode, and she's there smiling and radiant in the camera as I'm here yapping, and we're going to get to this amazing human here in a second, but I wanted to tell a brief story. So I met Kathleen Ferguson. It was through LinkedIn, yes, but when I met Kathleen, it was when I became aware of a company called Athletech News. I didn't know that much about Athletech News at that point, but Kathleen and I began some conversations. Unbeknownst to me, Kathleen had some prior conversations with our CEO, Steve Spiro. And to make a long story short, Kathleen, which she didn't have to do because we weren't quite working with her organization yet, invited us, our company, and myself in particular, to an event in New York 2 Januaries ago. And it was the opening bell ceremony for Wellness Week. I thought that because it was a short notice invite and Kathleen was just sort of ad hoc throwing the invite out, that maybe there were going to be 8 people that would show up. Of course, I didn't really know Kathleen that well at that point and didn't realize how well connected Kathleen is, but there were almost 100 people, maybe 100 people at this event on just a few days' notice, and it was one of the best networking events I've ever been to. I think still to this day, we refer to it as one of the most special occasions that we had. So it exceeded all expectations, and with that in mind, we have an amazing human here. Kathleen Ferguson has since gone on and has launched, founded Coach 360, and we're going to hear about Coach 360 here in a moment. And I would like to add that since that time, I've been to other events with Kathleen Ferguson, and before we were talking live here, Kathleen was just letting me know that it's all about great connections with the right people in the room, and Kathleen is somebody who's a master at making those connections with the right people. And I'm excited for everybody to hear about her, about Coach 360, and we're going to take this conversation in any direction we feel compelled to do so. Kathleen, thank you so much for joining us on Inside the Wellness Mind.
Thank you for having me. Gosh, I don't know if I can live up to this incredible introduction that you just provided, Mike.
Well, that's the goal. The goal is to see if we can keep the high bar high. So
yes,
we've had some wonderful guests, all of which you know, many of which prior to you are folks that you're going to have on your Ignite event starting tomorrow on the 17th. And it's going to run, what, 17th and the 18th?
Yep, we're dropping it like it's live on the 17th and 18th. And then if you can't tune in, of course, it's available on demand. You can tune in for as many or as few sessions as you like.
38 speakers. I'm not sure how you got that done, but that's incredible. 38 speakers over the course of 2 days, I guess, right?
Yes, 38 incredible speakers, industry leaders, subject matter experts, and coach creators.
Awesome. And so that everybody knows who may be on right now, or going to be listening after this, what's the best way for them to register for that event if they want to do so?
So they can register at coach360news.com, click the events tab, and hit Ignite by Coach 360.
Okay, awesome. All right.
Yep, and there's a direct link too that I'll share with you.
Awesome. Okay, great. All right. Now, I don't know if you've had a chance to see some of the other episodes, and you know me, so you probably realize it was going to head this direction. We're all doing a lot of great things, but I love to know, and I love to have folks know who it is that they're hearing from. So I want to take it back a little bit. I want to learn a little bit about the younger Kathleen, where you're from, for those that don't know, and how as a young person growing up, how you started to then head toward fitness and wellness. But where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in a little city called Coronado in San Diego, California. I know you know Coronado.
I know Coronado. Yeah, I know really well. Yeah.
Yeah, born and raised.
Heading over the bridge from the airport as I was getting ready to well, getting ready to go check into the Naval Special Warfare Center as an 18-year-old fresh-faced kid who looked like he was 15 years old. So yeah, I remember seeing beautiful Coronado back when you guys still had the toll lanes.
Yep. And those toll booths are still there. But yeah, grew up there and, super small town. And as soon as I turned 18, I wanted to spread my wings and I moved to LA, went to USC. I was a theater major there. So, yeah, I don't know how I got into health and fitness, but,
Yeah.
it was just one of those things where, theater, was something that was always, it had always called to me as a child. I did all sorts of, different plays and musical theater growing up. So it's just something I loved. And I played soccer. So there was athletics as well.
So did you play soccer for USC?
I did not.
Okay, played soccer in high school.
Yes.
Yeah, what position were you? Because I was a sweeper back in the day. I don't know if anybody knows what a sweeper is, but
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I was center mid. My
okay.
nickname was Brick House because I would just take people down.
Okay, all right. So your goal was to win the ball at all costs
Exactly.
and,
Yes.
and leave some
Uh,
damage along the way. Yeah,
Center mid
that's
required
awesome.
so much conditioning, as you know.
Right.
So, to kind of prep for that, I had to, I did cross country, I ran track, did all the running to prepare for that.
Okay. All right. So theater while you were at USC, did you have? I mean, at that point, were you thinking, "Hey, maybe I can make a name for myself in Hollywood," or what was your
Yeah,
what someone has to go through? Is that what you were thinking when you were at that point?
it was exactly that. Uh, took some time off school and
Mm-hmm.
I, did the whole acting thing in Los Angeles. And, to be honest with you, I found it really just soul breaking. It
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of not just rejection, but a lot of just critical feedback that I think nowadays I feel like the mindset is much more inclusive. But I feel like when I was acting in college, there was a lot of there was a certain way that you needed to look. There's a certain shape that you needed to have, and if you didn't fit that mold, it was really difficult to be a part of that whole scene. And I ended up getting out of that really quickly because it wasn't for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a cousin, Janelle Parrish. She was on Pretty Little Liars, the show. I don't even know what that is. That's a show apparently that lasted for 7 years on ABC Family.
Yep.
Um, so she was a Mona, whoever Mona was. I think she was an antagonist. But but yeah, that whole world, even for her, when I get a chance to chat with her, when we're talking, because we're cousins, she lets me know how brutal uh, that whole world can be, filled
Yep.
with highs and lows, and even in today's age, there's much more inclusivity. There's still
Still tough.
heavy on the aesthetics, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but all right. So once you started saying, okay, this isn't the world that I want to be in, where did you start to transition to from there?
Yeah, so I started in sales at CBS Radio.
Okay.
I worked in sales for the Tom Likas show in LA. So I worked to bring partners into that particular show.
All right. And so what kind of sales was that? Was that like
Media sales.
advertising? Media
Yeah,
sales. Okay.
advertising. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And I think is it do people still listen to the radio? They do, right? I mean,
I don't know.
I don't
That's a great question.
I don't know. I guess that was in the heyday because that's when we were listening to the radio. Everybody's now listening to their playlists. So
I haven't been off Spotify in years.
yes, I'm not a Spotify guy. I'm a YouTube music guy, but same concept. Yeah, I don't think I've heard the radio in a while. I think they still have the radio from when I last remember. So, all right. So there you are. You're selling spots in that advertising world, and what was your springboard to the next level? How did that all materialize?
Yeah, so that kind of leads to how I got into the health and fitness industry. I ended up meeting a man and fell in love, and we got married. And shortly after that, he got very very sick, and we were young. We were in our 20s, and he had an aggressive form of melanoma. And within 6 months after we got married, he had passed away. And as you can imagine, when something like that happens, it really kind of changes your perspective on what you're doing. I returned to work, in radio, and I felt completely devoid of purpose in my life. I couldn't do it anymore, and I just walked out and I quit. And I knew that I needed to. I wanted to do something, to help people. And I myself felt myself going down, kind of a dark path, a path that I didn't want to go down. And I began, really immersing myself in my own personal fitness. And I really loved it, because for me, it really became kind of that beacon of hope. It made me feel good. It made me feel like I could accomplish something. And, it truly changed the trajectory of my life. And, it was at that time that I decided I was going to become a personal trainer. Chose another career that's very difficult to make money. It's just, but if you know me as a person, I know you know me, but I'm very driven in pursuing things that, align with my purpose, and I'm passionate about it. And for me, becoming a personal trainer was that outlet, and I was able to be, that guide for so many that were struggling with their health and wellness. And through, helping others in that journey, it really, it helped me in my own growth, in my own transformation, in my own evolution. And, I was really able to channel, kind of that grief and pain that I was experiencing in my life, and put it into motion, into something good, and something positive. So that's how I got into fitness, and, quickly realized that, it's really hard to make a living, because when you become certified, I don't know how much you know about personal training certifications, but when you get that piece of paper, you don't automatically get into training on how to build a business for yourself. Right. There really are not systems in place, and there's no clear career pathways to help you figure out how to build something that's impactful and sustainable. So, I think that was, something that was really lacking, at least at the time.
Yeah, so it reminds me. So I've been a personal trainer before, and my training was a different pathway. So I had my own karate school when I was a young kid. So, and as a kickboxer, that's what fueled my passion to be as fit as I could possibly be. And then, as you know a little bit about my story, I was a SWAT guy and all that, and was in the military. And I always knew that, at least personally, having high levels of fitness did a lot of things. Maybe it increased the likelihood that I could perform physically, which would keep me alive longer in most cases. We had this old saying, the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. That was our saying. Now, not everybody who's in fitness is looking at things like that, but that's how I was looking at it. But fast forward, I ended up starting a fitness boot camp, and we grew it to about 300 people, and that was group personal training. But the individual trainers who, let's say, maybe didn't have their own business, or didn't have a large group personal training facility, I always felt for them, because oftentimes they were just at a gym and maybe had some clientele and had the desire to want to build something that could be thriving and growing, but there just weren't a lot of resources then to help provide that framework for them. And so that kind of leads me into what you're doing here with Coach 360. So if someone with that in mind wants to know exactly what Coach 360 is, what's the mission and purpose of Coach 360?
Yeah, so our mission's pretty simple. It's to uplift and empower health and fitness professionals to build successful careers where they can thrive. Where Coach 360 sits, kind of in the fitness industry, is that we serve about 40,000 health and fitness professionals. So coaches, trainers, group instructors, creators in the space, as well as, wellness coaches, really anyone that falls into that range of health and fitness, wellness, longevity, and is serving clientele. On the flip side of that, what I really identified in early 2024 when launching Coach 360 is that we needed to be more than just a media and content resource for health and fitness professionals. There are, a plethora of different, content and media resources for our industry. What we really needed to do was to address two major problems. The first being the churn rate with fitness professionals in general, which is currently sits at 80% within 2 years' time. So in 2 years, on average, most will abandon the industry, removing vital resources for our communities to keep them healthy and well. The second problem is directly related, in my opinion, to this first problem. Second problem being that owners and operators report that their top challenge in the industry is acquiring and retaining talent and staff. Our sources from the 1,700 clubs and studios that we serve across the United States, they state that on average, they're facing about 100% turnover rate every single year. So they are replacing their entire staff every single year. And that's a big problem because, acquiring, developing, and retaining staff is expensive. And we have the exact numbers, but I mean, long story short, it's expensive to do that. And we want to build a better solution to better align the right coach with the right job, because the coaches are not just leaving these jobs because of the pay. They're leaving because the mission and the core values of the company don't align with what they believe in, and there's a mismatch of company culture, and that's why they stay too. They stay from the company culture, which starts at the top within leadership. So what we're trying to build is really a holistic ecosystem for our industry that connects the right coach with the right role within the industry through storytelling, content resources, and the ability of these clubs and studios to be able to say, coaches, here's the reasons you should consider working for our facility. We invest in your growth and development. We'll pair you with a mentor so that you can learn how to crush it. There's career advancement, whatever it is, they can tell that story on the platform. And, that's going to really ultimately serve everybody, because we want to keep coaches in the industry, and we can only do that through providing them with career resources and pathways. And we want to keep these clubs and studios staffed.
Yes.
So that's really the big picture of what we've built.
So in my mind, Kathleen, I think in terms of, okay, so if I'm thinking that through, I think there's sole proprietorships, which can be boutique fitness. There's some sole proprietorships that can be big box. There are even some sole proprietorships that are like maybe a single or a couple full service gyms. But then within that, there's multi-unit boutique fitness, big box gyms like the EOS of the world. And I think in terms of like someone like a Lifetime Fitness, which is that upper echelon.
Mm-hmm.
What's your sweet spot with Coach 360? Each of those, and how do you work with each of those individually?
Well, we serve them all. Right now, we allow these owners and operators in clubs and studios to post jobs at no cost. And then, of course, we take it a step further and we leverage the media platform that we've built in the form of our newsletter and socializing these stories across our platforms. We tell their story, and then it's, oh, by the way, coach, here are the locations that are hiring, so we can effectively use the story to funnel these coaches back into these available roles. We've worked with some big box gyms. We've worked with 24-hour. We've worked with some F45s. We work with boutique fitness. We've worked with Body Bar Pilates and Training Mate, but we also work with some of these others that are smaller, just getting started, 1 or 2 locations. And we love working with them because, these are entrepreneurs who, many of them transitioned from the role of coach and pursued passion to, make that leap into becoming an owner. And they want to have the visibility and the ability to storytell as well. And by us featuring somebody that's maybe not as well established in our newsletter, we're basically taking their story and we're able to inspire other coaches who, are maybe thinking about taking that leap and trying to understand how to do it. So, these stories do more than, educate and, provide, resources to jobs. They inspire our future generation of club and studio owners. And that's how I believe that we can keep our industry healthy.
Yeah, you know, so what's surfacing in my mind is I know recently, things like a month ago or so, again, that you've been in the fitness world now a long time, but speaking of personal trainers, there's a trainer that has been very impactful in your life, even recently.
Mm.
I don't know the gentleman's name, but so much so that you've decided to train to compete. And tell me about that gentleman, because that's an example of trainers and people that are walking the walk and living it and breathing it and who have the ability to inspire others, the impact that they can make, even in someone like you who has been, in the fitness world for a long time now. Tell me about that gentleman.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it wasn't really just one person. I went to Career Lab expecting to put on a show. What I left with was an experience that moved me and inspired me and shifted my own mindset about my own capabilities. Because, I think we all walk around, especially as startup entrepreneurs. Like I have, just like many others, I have daily imposter syndrome, right? Where I think I can't do something or like I'm like not
That's
supposed
right.
to be here. I had it a bit when it came to my own ability to face physical and mental challenges. I mean, 2024, I took a leap and, built this company, right? And I never
That
would
was
have
a heck
done
of a
that without
leap.
a life coach. It was. And I never would have been able to do that, to be honest with you, if I didn't work on myself and work with a life
Hmm.
coach and invest in my own development to get to that point. And with Career Lab, I met all of these incredible coaches. I met people from different spaces, from bodybuilding, from athletics, from professional athletics, from celebrity stuntmen to celebrity trainers. I met so many people, and I heard so many inspiring stories that coming out of it, I knew that I felt this pull to have my own challenge. And bodybuilding is not just a physical challenge. Bodybuilding is a full experience, mind, body, and spirit challenge that requires significant discipline, as you know, and that
Yeah, the
discipline is
donut eaters in the room ready for, and not pointing at you. We're not ready for the bodybuilding challenge. That's the heck of a. You could have picked High Rocks. You could have picked Spartan. You could have gotten ready to have a fight, but you picked one of the hardest things to do, which is to get ready for a physique or a bodybuilding competition. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I think I was talking to someone about this the other day. You're never going to be ready to pull the trigger on a
Hmm.
challenge, right? Like don't wait until like New Year's Eve and say, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Like there's never a perfect time. Just like there's never a perfect time to get married or to have children or to launch a company. There's never enough, there's never enough, right? Enough money, enough
That's
time,
right.
enough energy to pour into yourself. So I just said, I'm going to just do it. I've got 3 young kids. I have a startup. But I'm going to add on bodybuilding prep onto my list of things
That's
that I'm going
good.
to do. And to be honest with you, Mike, it has been so grounding, the structure
Hmm.
for me in terms of knowing I'm getting up every morning. I'm getting up in the 4 o'clock hour. I'm going to be at the gym by 5 so I can knock out 2 hours of training. And oh, by the way, I'm going to spend an hour every single day prepping all of my meals so that they're ready to go and I can just, heat them up in between my calls during the day. And I love it. I mean, I do. I mean, I was a little hungry last night before bed, but
Yeah.
that happens as you progress in the journey. But I do
Yes.
love it. And I think the other thing too is that it incorporates a little bit of my love for the stage, with, being able to get out there on the stage, a little bit of glitz and glamour. So
Yes.
I am
Absolutely.
excited and I've been, taking this challenge head on.
Well, the moment that I saw that, I was super excited because where my mind always goes is it always goes to it's inevitable, of course, and I can see evidences of it where you're starting to have this amazing physical transformation. There's this evolution physically, but there's an old saying: you can't travel within and stand still without. What I love about what you're doing is you're committed to the industry. You have this amazing company that I mean, it's a risk. You launched it a year ago or so ago, and you're knocking the cover off the ball. I mean, when you think in terms of, I don't know, I think you said 1,700
Clubs and
um,
studios.
clubs and studios, 40,000 actual coaches. I have to I have to congratulate you on that, because I gotta admit, when you started this, I'm in your corner, and I'm thinking, this is such a risk, but if anybody could do it, I think you could do it. So to see you within this span of time just continuing to just knock the cover off the ball, it doesn't surprise me, but at the same time, I'm like, there's only a couple of people that could do something like that, and you happen to be one of those people. So congrats, by the way, on all that. But one of the things
Appreciate that, Mike.
you're welcome. Yeah, I'm one of your biggest fans. So when I was see you burn, it just makes me happy. So and all the people that you and I know, we know some wonderful people, many of whom are going to be talking and be speakers of yours tomorrow and the next day. Some of which have been on my earlier episodes, and I'm just grateful that I have folks like you to get to know, to get to build friendships with, and to, in some respects, do professional life with, and that's why I love what I do. But before I get too far down that pathway, one of the things that I love about fitness, and it made me think about it when I was hearing you talk about the commitment, is the way it transforms you internally. And fitness is so much, but it's mental health. It's harkening back to the loss that you dealt with. It's a way to cast your despair in a positive direction. It's cathartic. It's changed me mentally, maybe even more so than it's ever changed me physically. Do you find that to be what you love about fitness as well? Because that's the part that I love about fitness the most, is the internal growth.
Absolutely. I mean, I think one of the most significant changes, at least on this particular fitness journey, and there's always so many, right? We embark on all sorts of different physical transformations and journeys throughout our life. But the word that comes to mind with this particular one is resilience. I have experienced situations in my life that have required me to have a lot of resilience. And the fitness piece supports all of that in life, not just, the physical journey that I'm on right now, but it supports my resilience in all other areas, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And resilience is important. It's important for everyone, but it's extremely important for me right now with where I'm at in my life.
I love that. And for me, one of the reasons I train every day, it's not just so that I can, look good in my clothes, although that's always nice, or be physically capable. Those aren't, for me, it's always been life or death, but it's not that serious anymore for me, because I'm no longer running the streets of Baltimore and fighting over guns and knives and having to, have one of us walk out of the alley put together. One of us is going to go to the hospital, the other one's not. That's how serious it was back then. So fitness is near and dear to my heart because of those reasons. But it's near and dear to my heart, near and dear to my heart now because I also like to be the genuine article. I love authenticity. I love knowing that if I'm meeting somebody who is a coach or someone like you whose life's work now is to help provide coaches with and organizations with abilities to really thrive in this industry and these industries we call fitness and wellness. We'll talk about the coinciding of it too in a second. I train now also because I love to be authentic. I like to be someone who knows what it is to have fitness impact their life. Are you finding that now with your commitment to this competition that some of that's now starting to grow even deeper in you, that because you're now putting yourself through the pain that your trainers are putting people through?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that you are somebody, Mike, that truly walks the talk in this particular industry. And that's one of the things that I admire so much about you. I like to also walk the talk.
Yes.
And I'm living in a space, to your point, where I'm working with thousands of coaches that are impacting the lives of millions. And I love to be able to say, hey, I'm also on this journey. I've had coaches reach out and, coaches and clients, people reach out on Instagram and say, hey, I just saw that you're in prep. I'm in prep too for the first time. So there's all of a sudden, there's all these like different connection pieces that are firing off. So it's really fun to be able to share that journey with our community at Coach 360. And it's incredible to see, just the support and the people that have come forth. So I think it is very important to be authentic in the sense that I will walk the talk. I won't always sign up for, a crazy physical challenge. I might do more bodybuilding shows because I kind of got the bug now. But, I think that, trying new things as somebody that's in this industry is really important. It goes beyond dollars and cents that you're bringing in for your company. And it does go back to the concept of authenticity and really being ingrained in, the culture that you're building within your organization. And that's what I want to do. I don't want to just build a community. I want to be a part of it.
Yes. Did I lose you?
Nope, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can hear you. You're good. LinkedIn Live. So, authenticity is just so crucial. And I just, again, not to beat a dead horse, but I just loved it when I heard you were committing to that competition because like you say, you've always been someone that walks the talk. It's interesting. I do walk the talk, and the only reason I started the series is because I was walking the talk oftentimes more than I was talking the talk. So sometimes it's important to get out there. There's so many people sharing so much great information, and there's so many of you amazing people in my network that I was thinking, you know what? No, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you, and there's going to be people in our networks that want to hear from you, and you're doing so many amazing things, and you always seem to have your finger on the pulse of what's taking place. Obviously, yes, in fitness, but not just fitness, wellness, anti-aging, because some companies are blending these now. And I'd like to really get your sense of whether it relates to fitness. Yes, those are the majority of the companies that you're working with, but fitness and wellness, and Jeff Zweifel and I started talking about it, Amber and I talked about it a little bit, but there's this convergence between fitness and wellness now. Anti-aging, recovery, and lifestyle. How important do you think it is now, and then is going to continue to be for these boutique fitness companies, big box, full service gyms to continue to bring in or add in opportunities for their members and guests and trainers to be able to have wellness equipment in their facilities?
Yeah, I mean, from my standpoint, I serve the coach community, obviously, so fitness professionals and trainers, as well as the club and studio owners and operators. So, when you look at the coach and the trainer audience, it is very, very important. They are at the front lines with these clients that they're serving. And today's client is really shifting away from, just that aesthetics focus and moving into, wanting to have a holistic approach to their overall health, fitness, and wellness. They want to be addressed from the 360-degree approach, which is really, kind of behind the name of Coach 360. And we need to, as an industry, really help to educate these coaches and trainers because the client wants the comprehensive solution all under one roof, and they would love to get it from one coach or trainer. So we're seeing education come forth, from all of the major certification organizations to really help to, give these coaches and trainers, the skills that they need to be able to serve the client at that holistic approach. So things like wellness coaching, women's health at these various different stages in our lives, whether it's prenatal, postnatal, perimenopause, menopause, how do we address that? How do we address longevity and just the concept of feeling better as we age, right? We don't want to just look good anymore as we age. We want to feel good. We want to be able to do the things that we did in our 20s and 30s and we want to be able to do those into our 40s, 50s, 60s and beyond. So I think, the education component for these coaches is coming to the forefront. And from the coach's perspective, it's a really great opportunity for them to be able to say, okay, I'm now within scope of practice to now give you nutrition coaching, Mike, or I can tell you how to feel better. I can give you wellness coaching. And then I can also, give women's health coaching as well. I'm within scope of practice because of the education. Thus, I can now increase my income through diversifying my offering. So I think from the coach and the trainer perspective, that's where they need to, really lean into, kind of this trend. And I don't even want to call it a trend because it's where we're going. It's more than a trend. It's the shift. It's the evolution of our industry from fitness to wellness. And then on the club and studio side, absolutely. They're serving, the end user client. So they need to get on board and make sure that they have everything that a client needs under one roof. Otherwise, that client and member is going to leave and they're going to go find some place that does have it. So this is important in terms of, putting a focus on wellness and holistic approach from the club and studios perspective in order to retain that customer, as well as to increase revenue streams. So they're all doing it now. Like, I belong to Planet Fitness. A new one just opened up down the street. It's absolutely beautiful. Will I pay $5 extra per month? Yeah. Will I pay $5 extra per month so that I can use the red light and so that I can use the hydro massage and the massage chairs? Absolutely. Yes, I will pay that, as will everybody else for the most part that's in there, because it is such an easy upsell for these clubs and studios to monetize these wellness offerings, and it costs them nothing from the staff perspective. They don't need to have someone in there, manning and turning on the red light bed. They don't need to have someone turning on the hydro massage. These are self-serve wellness solutions that are driving additional streams of revenue, just like with what you guys are doing with halotherapy and all of the incredible things that you have. Although I would like to have a halotherapy in my Planet Fitness, wink, wink, Planet Fitness, if you're listening, I need a halotherapy.
With that in mind, here's what's interesting, Kathleen. So fortunately for us, you're right. Planet Fitness would, in any gym, any organization for that matter, but Planet Fitness especially. But it's the only modality that naturally addresses respiratory health, as you know. And for us, it's just a matter of time, I believe, before we start to, let's say, forge a relationship with someone like a Planet Fitness. They have a lot going on. They're growing so rapidly, but I know that they have begun to add wellness. But yeah, halotherapy would certainly make a huge impact in the overall quality of life of their member base, because it'd be the only modality that addresses respiratory health without having to add in attendant assistance, just like every other modality. But let me ask you this, because this brings up a thought, Kathleen. So it is great if someone like Planet Fitness has a red light therapy bed, because that's just a couple of touches of a button here and there for delivering photons into your skin and to your muscles. So that's great. And maybe they have hydro massage. That's an easy process. I think though they'd get even wider adoption if the coaches or the front desk staff or whoever it is that is, meeting the members on a one-to-one basis, if they did educate folks initially on the benefits of those modalities. Do you see in the club spaces, these boutique fitness locations, are there people that are as proficient as perhaps they could or should be at explaining the benefits of wellness? Or is it just like hey, here's what we have and you can use it if you want?
I think some clubs and studios explain it very, very well. And others just say, hey, would you want this add-on? You're going to get X, Y, and Z. And there's not a ton of education and information that goes behind that sale, to your point. So yes, I think they'd get wider adoption to, some of those devices. But I think that some of them keep it really simple. Massage chair, no brainer, right? But, I think hydro massage could, potentially use more education. Vibration technology, compression therapy, red light, absolutely. But to your point, I don't think a lot of people have the education they need about respiratory health and respiratory wellness products and services to help you or to support your respiratory health. So I think education's always key in terms of, getting, adoption to new products and services. And I think just overall in general, I think our generation is, very, very much so educated on it. But, some of the older generations don't understand that and how that can support their health and how that can make them feel better. So, how do we get that information, education in front of those people within the clubs and studios?
Look at someone who now, like you, is going to be going into a bodybuilding competition. And I think about something like our Halo Red, because that's what surfaces in my mind for somebody like a Planet Fitness. The Halo Red is the only patented full immersion red light therapy and halo therapy integration in the world. It's attendantless, low maintenance. Someone can come in for just a 15-minute session and have a respiratory cleanse, a skin detox. They can have red light therapy delivering nutrient giving photons right into their skin, into their musculature. But for a bodybuilder, literally, you could say, all right, before you come in for your bodybuilding session, if you want to increase nitric oxide, you can get into the Halo Red for 15 minutes before your bodybuilder workout and actually get a better muscle pump, because red light therapy helps to knock loose nitric oxide. And if it was an endurance athlete, they could flip it around. And if it's an endurance athlete, they'd want to have a nice 15-minute session after they have gone through their endurance workout. So there's all kinds of nice benefits. But just a 15-minute session in the Halo Red could be perfect before a bodybuilding workout or after a endurance workout. So there's all kinds of benefits there.
Yeah, I need one in my life.
we got to think about getting you one in your life. You're doing some stuff, or at least I think there's some stuff happening overseas, or at least there's some connections being made overseas as it relates to working with Steve Spiro and maybe Aaron Lee. What's going on overseas? Anything?
Yeah, I think Steve mentioned he was doing a show in the Middle East, right?
Yeah, that's coming up. I think is it? I think it's the same, real close to when you're going to be at Beyond Active.
Yes, I want to say, I'm not sure which show it is. It's not Dubai
FIBO,
Active is
Saudi
later
Arabia.
on. Yes, FIBO.
Yeah, FIBO, Saudi Arabia.
That's
You've
the
been
one.
to FIBO before.
I've been to FIBO in Cologne, but not Saudi.
Okay, but that was humongous, right?
That's a big show. Planning to go back to that one next year. Have you been to FIBO?
No, I haven't been to FIBO. How would you compare that to something like HFA? For those of us who've only been to HFA.
I mean, I would say it's it's a great deal larger, just since there is a consumer component to it. I made the mistake of going on Consumer Day, not this past year, but the year before, and we got stuck behind a line of, like, I want to say it was 25,000 people. It's crazy. So I think for that reason, just since they have the consumer angle, they have more halls because they need, different halls to serve the consumer. So that would be the big difference between, HFA and FIBO.
Okay, great. But then there's something like Beyond Active, which you're going to October 1st and 2nd. You have a party you're throwing on October 1?
Yeah, we're doing a small scale dinner and networking for, some of our owner and operator partners and some people that we are friends and just people we're looking to get to know. So not quite as large scale as the one that we threw at HFA Vegas. That was a party. But we're looking forward to gathering and breaking bread with our friends and industry colleagues on October 1st. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember your HFA party. That was an impressive party.
It was a good one. That was a special one. We love being able to give out those industry impact awards to the owners and operators that are really serving their health and fitness professional community and providing them with career pathways of advancement within their organization. So that's really what that party was about, was honoring those people who are, supporting the careers of health and fitness professionals who really are, the pillars of their communities. And we loved giving those awards because they're based on merit. So everything that we do is merit-based when it comes to awards. So it was really fun to be able to surprise people with those.
That's awesome. Is that going to be an annual tradition?
It will.
Mm-hmm. So every around at HFA in particular?
Yes, exactly. So we'll be doing one at the San Diego event here coming up in March.
Well, San Diego, that's going to be amazing, right? Your stomping ground.
We love San Diego. We don't love San Diego when it rains at HFA.
No, wait a
So
second.
last time it rained, it was a crazy rain. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, it
Well, I
was the
remember that.
sideways rain.
Oh, the sideways rain, that Forrest Gump rain. So was there upside down rain?
There may have been upside down
There may
rain.
have been upside down rain. So yeah, the last time I remember significant rain in Southern California was the first 3 weeks of basic underwater demolition SEAL training. I showed up and I had heard that it never rains in Southern California because I paid attention to that Tony, Tony, Tony song. It never rains in Southern California. I don't know if you remember that song.
I
So I,
don't. You have to sing it for me.
ooh, well, maybe at the HFA party. Yeah. It never rains in Southern California. That's about all it was. I have to get my cousin Janelle to sing it.
Okay, that's pretty
It's a
good.
Tony, Tony, Tony song. They, and I thought literally it didn't rain in Southern California. It rained for 3 weeks straight. I had the worst cold I ever had in my life.
Oh,
I remember standing watch at like midnight to 4 a.m. because I was like a young seaman recruit who was at SEAL training, and I'm thinking, I signed up for this. Worst cold ever, rained 3 weeks straight. I'm like, I signed up for this. So, but then it was sunny from that point forward for seemingly a year.
there you go. That's what we signed up
So
for.
that's exactly what we signed up for. And but you're what, East San Diego?
Yeah, about 15 minutes from Del Mar Beach in a city called Poway.
Okay. Oh, Powell, that's right. Powell. I was thinking
Yep,
of Santee.
it's where the city meets the country. It's very beautiful. There are a lot of trails. People still ride around on horses, but it still, has that beautiful Southern California weather.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love California. We have a project we're working on. It's not SoCal, but it's the Palm Desert, which is beautiful. Over at
Love the
Bighorn.
desert.
I think Bighorn's that first community that you see when you come down into the Palm Desert. That's me.
Okay, gotcha.
And
Off the
it's boy,
mountains.
they have a Halo Red at the Thunder Valley Resort out there in the Coachella Valley, and that same organization said we need those two. We need two more Halo Reds. It's going to be a big one. Um, so one of the things that I'm curious about. So wellness businesses have staff now, and whereas the staff may not be, let's say, fitness coaches, they are staff. And I'm thinking of like the Restore Hyper Wellness of the
Hmm.
world, or businesses like that do need to train people, educate people, coach people up on how to get the most out of the modalities, especially if they want to generate, you know, customers that are going to stay there, customers that are going to go out into the community and be ambassadors and understand the modalities. Would you guys, do you guys work with organizations like that? Do you see potential value in helping organizations like that, or is that outside of your scope?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's opportunity because many times the worlds are crossing over, right? So I know at least at the Restore Hyper Wellness that I go to, the person that greeted me before was a fitness professional as well. So it just really depends on what the fitness professional's goals are and what job opportunities are in front of them, right? Because I believe if a Restore Hyper Wellness posted a job on Marketplace by Coach 360 and we told their story, our fitness professionals would jump all over that because they want to be in the wellness space too,
Yes.
and they're already walking the talk. They're leveraging all of those wellness services themselves. They're using peptides. They're using IV drip therapy. They're using saunas, infrared saunas. So and cryotherapy, of course. So I think there's a lot of crossover there, but in terms of the training, it's just a bit different, right?
Right. That's exactly right. So, because in my mind, when I look at your content, I look at all the value that you bring to coaches and fitness, and of course, you and I have had many conversations about the, let's say, connecting the dots between fitness and wellness and longevity and recovery and even aesthetics at times. And so, I just know that you guys could help organizations like the Restorers of the world, and there's so many businesses jumping into wellness and then having crossover. There's a new business. Um, Amber told me about. They only have a handful of locations, but they're now in fitness and wellness, and you might know the name. I think it's called Updated Labs or Update. I think it's called Update. Does that name
Um,
ring a bell?
It doesn't. There was another one that was on the tip of my tongue, but it's not update. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, so maybe ask Amber about it, but I really like what they're doing. They have a fitness component, which is modernized, maybe a little bit of an AI enabled fitness component, but they also have attendant-less wellness within the same facility, and they're blending those two together. So that might be one that, talking shop with Amber, you guys talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing it, with a lot of the clubs and studios that we work with. I mean, you look at somebody like, Todd Durkin with his Impact X format that they recently launched last year. And I mean, within Impact X, there's all sorts of different services in the wellness and recovery. Recovery is one of their 4 pillars. They have nutrition. They, of course, have fitness. And then they have faith as well. So, just bringing people, deeper into their spiritual connection with themselves.
Okay.
So, I think the opportunity for, clubs and studios to, kind of integrate these different formats to be that comprehensive solution so that their customers don't have to leave and go somewhere else because we're all so busy. It's difficult for me to, go to the gym and then, find time to go then to restore. I wouldn't have time for that. And then to then go to a Pilates studio. It's just many of us are so busy. There's time to go to one place for your self-care. So if, more of these organizations can, put more of these services and products under one roof, ultimately it's going to really serve everyone better.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of which, of course, Miura, which you know very well, because you know Jeff Whiteful. You had the amazing Jeff Whiteful on. Is he on tomorrow or is he on the 18th? When's he coming on?
That's a great question. I should know the answer.
Well, that's okay. You have 38 speakers, so.
You stumped me.
Right.
You stumped me.
That's okay. You have 38 speakers. I can barely keep track of one. So, anyway, the reason I'm bringing Jeff Whiteful up is because, of course, you think about that connecting of dots, and he's big on, there's silos in this world. There's.
So he's on the 18th. He's on Thursday.
The 18th. Okay.
Yes.
Everybody tune in for that. If you can't tune in for anything else, definitely tune in for Jeff. His wife was.
At 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock PST.
Awesome. Yeah, and he has a chapter in a book as well. That new book, which is Beyond Reps. So if anybody has not heard about, or even had anything published on a book, if you just go onto LinkedIn and look for Beyond Reps, there's a new book coming out, and Jeff has, I think, chapter 11 in that book, one of the chapters. But Without Walls is the name of his chapter. But we talked about, because you mentioned peptides in a recent post, don't you think I missed it? Because I didn't miss it. But we talked about diagnostics with Miura, getting their biomarkers, obviously peptides, some hormone replacement therapy. They have wellness equipment. They have coaching, of course, with that whole program that's inside of Lifetime. I was going to call it Lifetime Fitness, but he smacked me down when I called it Lifetime Fitness.
Fitness has been removed, yes.
Yeah, fitness got removed. But I got away with it because I was there when it was Lifetime Fitness. But that connecting of the dots, like you said, I think it behooves any organization now, if they have the abilities, the resources, and the desire to do it, is to try to get this all under one roof if they can.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always feasible, but if they can.
Yeah, I mean, there's just such a huge opportunity in that space, especially, with the rise in precision medicine and, being able to personalize the customer's journey, based on all of their data. It's game changing. And I love seeing, more education surrounding peptides. Love what Bob Thomas and NextGen MD are doing in the space. I think he's brilliant. And, being able to offer customers and clients the peptides and medicine that they need to start their journey or succeed on whatever specific physical journey that they're on is truly game changing. So I'm really excited about that space. And yes, that session is awesome. So definitely take a listen to that one on Thursday.
Take a listen.
All of them are great, but
yeah, they're all going to be great. I mean, you got Amber Burke. There's so many others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just go to Kathleen's website, look for Ignite, look at the speaker rundown, click. You'll see the first initial few, but then click more, and then just look at the entire 38-person rundown. It's got some heavy hitters on there. So for someone, Kathleen, that does tune in tomorrow and the next day, they are a boutique fitness company with 5 locations. One of which is I'm thinking about right here in Southern Florida. What can they expect to get out of Ignite over the course of those 2 days?
So there's all sorts of industry experts and leaders who have built and scaled businesses in the boutique fitness space. So not even just boutique fitness. We've got everything from boutique to big box to mid box. We have speakers that represent all of those different categories that are true leaders in the industry that have built incredible products and services. So they definitely want to tune in to hear about not just their tips and strategies, but also their own journey and mistakes that they made along the way, and what they've learned and what advice that they'd give to you as an entrepreneur just getting started and how to scale your business. So I just think hearing from others and that collaboration that goes into a lot of these panels, as we can see them connecting and sharing and bouncing ideas off of each other. That's the true magic, and that's what they'll take away from Ignite.
Yes, wonderful. Yeah, I'm personally excited about tuning in and catching some of it tomorrow and the next day, and then seeing anything that I missed. I'm going to be tuning in. As you know, we adore Amber Burke, the chief operating.
We love Amber.
Coach 360. Or excuse me, of Burn Bootcamp. Sorry, Amber. And you think about the fact that these guys have 377 plus locations with commits. They have 600 identified. And if anybody hasn't seen that session with Amber Burke from Inside the Wellness Mind, episode 6, you got to go check that out. She's surgical, smart as a whip. Talk about somebody who lives and breathes fitness. A lady that carries 70-pound dumbbells across the floor like it's nothing.
She's incredible.
She's incredible.
Not only is she, yeah, I mean,
if I ever see you guys across the pickleball net, I'm gonna sit that one out and then wait for the next round.
I had the opportunity to get to know Amber a little bit better when we went to Italy, for the conference, and she is articulate, and she's just so incredibly sharp.
Yes.
She's not just skilled in like the operational side of things and the strategy side of things. When it comes to women's health and women empowerment and career advancement, I just love everything that she has to contribute to that conversation. She is just a top-notch human too. So just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole Burn team is wonderful.
Yeah, that whole Burn team is absolutely wonderful. I mean, they're just doing some special things and you know how when you meet somebody, I mean, it's immediately apparent in how clear Amber is and how certain Burn Bootcamp is of their recipe for success. That's abundant, but just success just oozes out of their pores. It's hard to describe, but you know it when you see it. And when you meet someone like Amber, and for you for that matter, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I was excited about this series, because there's all these people that are so driven, so passionate, so articulate, and just experts in their craft, but never, you don't ever stop learning, and you seem to have a fire within you that just can't be extinguished, and I mean those are the kind of people that I personally wanted to chat with and have people now and then down the road hear snippets of these conversations, because I admire you, I admire Amber, Jeff, Albert Ramos Jr. What a sharp fella that is. Is he going to be? He's not at this one, but is he on this? No,
he's not on this. We are going to connect in Dallas though at Beyond Active.
Okay. That's a sharp fella there. I've only known him fairly recently, but that's another sharp guy.
Who I want to introduce you to is Hal. Do you know Hal Hargrave? He's my buddy. He's the CEO and founder. He's the CEO and founder of The Perfect Step. I feel like you need to know him. I mean, talk about having a passion and a purpose. I memean, that man leads it every single day of his life. So that's one. You weren't asking me for my recommendation for your next guest, but that's a recommendation.
No, I want to meet Hal. because I'm going to have just a couple names. You know, Margot Alvarez. She's somebody who was on the Titan Games. She's a 6 or 7 time CrossFit athlete. Has a story about overcoming and passion. So she's going to be on. I'm going to have um, uh, there's Kirk from Metabolic.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's going to come on October 8th. So, and I haven't met Kirk. So, but seems to be a driven guy. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that
Great brand.
conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
absolutely.
do you know Devin Heyman?
Why is this name familiar to me? I feel like I just
He's
connected with this person on LinkedIn.
I think yeah, you probably did. I mean, talk about a guy that is well, first off, I think he's 63 or 64, but looks like to me he looks like he's like 50 um, at best, but super fit. He's had a lifelong commitment to, not surprisingly, wellness, recovery, anti-aging, rejuvenation. I think he's in regenerative medicine. He was a
Got
former
it.
thriving tanning salon owner back in the day out
Yep.
in Southern California. So he's going
Yeah.
to be on
Sounds like you
there.
have a stellar lineup. You've had some awesome guests, and I'm honored to have been one of them.
Yes, well, I appreciate you for coming on. It was, you know, super excited to have you on today, episode 7. Seriously, that's my favorite number. So the fact that you were on was special to me. All right, so you're next going to be. You have Ignite coming up. You're going to be at Beyond Active, and then where might you be over the course of the next month or two? So if and as people are out and about at various functions, they might be able to come shake your hand.
Well, yeah, so we'll be at Beyond Active October for our event, and then leading into Beyond Active. After that, I'm going to take a little travel hiatus because
Okay.
being in prep, I have to bring my food with me everywhere, so makes it a little tricky. But then I will be headed out to the Sean Ray Classic for my show in
Awesome.
November 8th. And then after that, I'm going to go to Todd Durkin's Mountain Retreat in Whitefish,
Awesome.
Montana. And that is a special show. That is where industry leaders gather to goal set, learn from panelists and industry experts and subject matter experts on various different scale and growth tactics. As well as there's a very big inspiration component that is very much so experience based. Like we all got into the lake last year at Whitefish for a real cold plunge. I mean, it was a real
It's a
cold
real
plunge.
cold plunge.
I lasted 10 seconds. I, was a wimp. But there were people that stayed in there for 10 minutes. I couldn't believe it. But
Did it take your breath away?
I mean, everything hurt for me. Like when I got out of the water, my feet felt like they weren't there. I went right
Yeah.
to the jacuzzi.
That's I mean I don't know, but you probably were somewhere between 30 to 40 degrees in that water.
Yeah, I think it was I think he said it was 32, 33, 34, maybe.
Yeah, that's no joke. No
Is
joke
that
whatsoever.
possible? No, I don't think it was that cold.
Well, it's possible for that
Outside.
water. Yeah, it's also possible for that water to be in that 35-degree range,
Yeah.
um, which is staggeringly cold.
It was frost. It felt frosty outside. It was frosty. Like it had
Yeah.
snowed
Okay.
and yeah.
Yeah. So, well, next time you'll stay in for 20 seconds, so you'll be good.
I don't even think I'm going to go in next time. But for everyone that does,
Yeah.
you'll enjoy it, and I'll be waiting back in the jacuzzi.
That's right. All right, not to gloss over, and we'll wrap. You're going to be at the Sean Ray Classic. Where's that event
No,
going to be held?
that's in Waikiki, Hawaii, in
Waikiki,
Oahu.
Hawaii. Okay, so anybody that's in the Melikilikimaka world, what's the date of it?
It's November 8th.
November 8th. Okay. All right. So if anybody fancies themselves taking a trip out to the Sean Ray Classic out in Waikiki, November 8th, 2025, you can see Kathleen and many others out there who obviously are making that special commitment to make some transformations. I can tell that you've been doing it, and I'm excited for you. And I won't be there, but I'll be cheering you on from afar.
I
And I
appreciate
appreciate
that.
your time today, Kathleen. You're amazing as always. Everybody be
Thank
well, be
you.
safe. We'll chat with you soon.